think you should.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Whoscussion. We're on part B. We're going to be covering something inside a 8th Doctor short trip. I mean, what? A full cast audio?
Yeah, not a short trip.
No, it's a hell of a trip, but it ain't a short one. And
Ooh.
The last story of this week will be Lost and Found. I'm going to give you a quick summary, but we need to jump into our thoughts about this one. So basically, the Doctor, Kira's and Charlie end up inside this cube, this metallic cube,
Yes.
and they get separated from the TARDIS. They end up getting separated from each other. The Charlie and Kira's then get separated from each other again. Charlie, the Doctor, is interspliced into the story for the first two parts with a flash forward. Until everybody else who was Kira's and Charlie, their story catches up to him. So we see Kira's and Charlie in the past for the first two parts of the story. Kira's and Charlie are hanging out with these ex-soldiers. They find out that they're telepathic. They find out that it's hard to read Kira's mind because he's a low-functioning telepath. As, that's one of his things from when he was part of the church.
Well, no, I thought that was.
Is that a U-term as in genetic?
Oh,
no, it is. No, it's from one of the people he saved,
Yeah,
from one of the people he saved. Yes, that's right. It's an ability he picked up from someone he saved on his U-term as in hard drive, which is a code word for his really crazy brain.
His matrix brain.
Yeah, his matrix brain. There's some words that I can't use on the family podcast that I would use to explain Kira's. He's a little upped. That's all I have to say.
Quite upped.
He's quite upped. The Doctor is in an interrogation with an individual called Rawdin, and the ex-military people that are inside this cuboid prison, they were essentially given these powers by Royden to win a war. Kira's and Charlie end up getting separated. There's this being called the Mind Worm that everyone's afraid of, and the Doctor, through a torturing segment, ends up becoming the holder of this worm. He becomes...
well, it's not the torturing sequence that it gets.
Oh, okay.
It's
but he does get superpowers at that point.
He gets the worm. He gets superpowers during the torturing thing. He gets the worm later when he joins minds with What's-Her-Face. When he does a mind melt with What's-Her-Face.
Yeah, when he does a mind melt with What's-Her-Face. So the Doctor gets given these enhanced psychic... Because, I mean, Time Lord's are naturally psychic, but he gets these abilities, like, turned up to the nth degree. He uses it to escape the clutches of these torturers. Ends up into the cuboid prison. A heck of a lot happens in this to do with this mind worm. People end up getting killed, and the Doctor and Charlie and Kira's end up leaving the clutches of this cuboid. Now, with that out of the way, Harry and Skelly, what are your thoughts on this story, man?
Maybe just a little too dark. Yeah. So one of the effects of the mind worm, which is immediately detailed to us, is that it spits your skull open.
Yes, it does.
When it attacks. That's quite a thing to put on somebody, especially considering it's supposed to be a family show. Yeah. So I mean, like, you can get away with it in audio because you just have people being disgusted about it. Just have someone say, "Oh, the skull broke open." You can imagine things, but you're not showing it, so you get past all the censors. But still, if you have to put it in audio form to get away with it, it might say something about it.
Was that the right move, guys?
It was So yeah, those are my main thoughts about it. Other than that, there's this. I'm not sure. I like the story. I do. I'm not sure about the whole going backward and forward thing that they did time wise, because it seems to be a big thing they've been doing in this season particularly.
Yeah.
Is that they show the end of stuff, or they have some lead into it. That's really obvious. I'm not a big fan of flash forwards and flashbacks in general, unless they serve a good purpose. But so yeah, this story doesn't fill that niche for me. But the second two episodes where that stops being a thing, that's great. I'm perfectly fine with that. So it's not a big deal for me, but it's still something that I would have preferred not to be in there.
Right.
You get that?
Sometimes I do hate flash forwards. I have to agree, but I don't know. I think it sort of worked with this one because it
was handled well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been getting to me recently for a lot of because a Doctor Who likes to do that a lot because time travel, but this is not just because time travel. It's just because. So
it was just because. I sort of liked it because I wanted to know how Carrier's got involved in the flash forward. I was just like, oh, hey, how does Carrier's get from where he is in the past to where he is there? I think this was handled a lot better than some of the other times it's happened. It was an awesome one. Something I really like. Oh, the Natural History of Fear.
Yeah.
That was handled so well, the flash forward. I think better than this, actually, to be honest. But I think you are right. The third and fourth episodes are actually the strongest out of this story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because so much more happens. And I'm not against a slow build-up. I mean, if anybody knows me personally, my favourite film of all time is Gone with the Wind, and that has one hell of a slow build-up.
But the slowest build-up ever.
3 hours, in fact. And so that wasn't that bad, but I just think there is no way in hell you could get away with this on TV. No,
you absolutely could not.
No, it's just I love how the Doctor on purpose gets tortured. I really like that. He's because he on purpose puts himself in that device. He's like, this is going to make me ultra. Because he knew it would make him awesome. He was just like, this is going to make
Super
me super. Yeah. But when the Doctor kills Mr. Twist.
Well, he didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, right.
It was just because he was threatening Charlie, and that made his mind allow the time worm to get out. And mind worm, not time worm. Yeah. Man, so many worms in this.
So many worms. Yeah, that. Oh man, it was so even then Charlie's like.
Yep. They're actually like, whoa.
Yeah, because she starts she dry riches, and I'm just like,
she actually does. Yeah.
And I'm just like, ooh, that must have been yuck. You just know that's the sort of thing that you'd have to Adult Swim that if you ever animated it. That would be the Adult Swim.
That is an Adult Swim production.
Yeah, so it's like, whoa. And just the reaction of Royden, he's like, what have you done? And the Doctor's like, look, I'm
no one
sorry,
deserves
man.
to die like that. I was totally going to weaponize this. No one deserves to die like that.
I'm totally the worst person in the world. I liked the cuboid prison because there's this. I've got a secret film that I really like. It's not very good, but I really like it, and it's called The Cube.
The Cube.
Yeah, it's basically a torture horror.
Right.
Or I suppose it's more of a torture thriller because there's nothing supernatural in it. So yeah, it's more of a torture thriller. And I just the whole time I was like, they're inside that. It's a B movie, but it's like it's one of my like secret pleasures, man. Like my guilty pleasure is that film. Um, and I was
Fair
just like the whole time I was just like they're inside the cube, but like on a massive scale because in the film the cube's like like probably about the size of my lounge basically.
Nice.
But yeah, I just like I had this like creepy experience, and I just imagined they were in this like sterile metal environment. The whole and it made me feel like super uncomfortable because you know they're like the walls are like this metal that stops psychic powers, or sort of mutes them a little bit, dulls them out. But I think the Latch's sacrifice at the end. I think that was pretty cool, to be honest, because he's kind of an asshole, and then you find out he's just putting on a brave face, and the only reason he's an asshole is because he thinks it makes him look tough, but on the inside he's actually scared out of his pants. And then his like final sacrifice is pretty cool because he lets people he doesn't know escape.
Very true.
And I was like, that's a hell of a sacrifice, man. And he knows that if that mind worm gets out, that's the whole of his world gone. And he's like, my world might have turned on me, because they did. They criminalized them, even though they won them the war.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have to turn on them. And I was like, that's a pretty great way to handle that, man. Like, you handled that like a gentleman. And I got to give him kudos for that.
Indeed.
Yeah, I suppose that's all we've got left to say. Is there anything else you want to add there, Harry Scully, before we move on to Lost and Found?
No, that about sums it up.
Yeah,
for me, honestly.
You can pick this up for about $1.50 American and 50p in the United Kingdom. It is a bloody good listen. I mean, like, it's one of those times where you can see. I know this sounds weird because it's audio, but you can actually you can see the brutality. It's weird how they've done it. I don't know how Big Finish did it, but they made it work.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll move on to Lost and Found. Harry, it's going to take us away.
All right. So, Lost and Found is a Second Doctor story where a Second Doctor short trip with Polly and Ben. Hey.
You speak foreign, eh, Harry Scully?
Oh yeah. So, that's how it goes. That's the kind of story we're in for at this point. So, it starts off with Polly explaining to the Doctor and Ben her childhood, basically, where she had a small bear.
Yeah.
That she, as many children do, had a nice cuddly animal.
Yeah.
But she was remembering this because they found some wreckage, a bomb, and found a baked bean can, like standard like blue Heinz bean can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's remembering this because like the first time she ever saw that, it was the same time she lost her bear, and so during this, the Doctor is inspecting this can in the wreckage of a bomb blast, and figures out that the bean can has some sentience to it, and is somehow, Second Doctor things.
Yeah.
So he plays this recorder to it, figures out what the deal is with that, and basically runs off with Ben and Polly in tow. And they get to this department store. Polly suddenly realizes that this is totally the department store that she lost her bear in all those years ago. And you kind of know what's going to happen after that, really. Yeah, so they go inside the department store. The Doctor reunites the beans with the beans. It turns out that there's like a sentient like creature that's like come together via the beans, and it's kind of it seems to be at war with some other sentient being that's capable of taking control of things as well, which is taking control of the Lost and Found department. Yeah, that's the thing that happens. Second Doctor things. So Ben and Polly are off looking around for things, trying to find. Ben and Polly are basically looking for the bear, which is really funny. The Doctor's off trying to solve like space and time things, and Ben and Polly are like, oh, we're just gonna go find a lost bear,
Yeah.
just because
That's
they
great.
can. So eventually, the Doctor finds them at the lost and found place. Well, eventually the Doctor finds young Polly after the aliens from the beans freeze all of space and time, but not freeze this little child. And the Doctor drags little Polly along to meet Big Polly. That's an interesting circumstance. So the Doctor is like, I really should not let this happen. Oh, it's happened anyway. Oh, nothing bad happened. All right.
Yeah, I love how they describe it too. He's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then it happens, he's like, oh.
He's like, actually, it's like, he was like, oh my god, Reapers. Oh my god, please no, please no. Oh, never mind. All right. Playing the recorder. Anyway, so turns out the lost and found department's become the sentient alien as well. And basically they figure out that the bear that Polly wants, both Pollys want, is in this lost and found, and is being kept by this entity that is powered by want, basically. So if you want something that's at part of its entity, it can keep it from you, and it powers itself. And eventually they realize that, or the Doctor realizes that, and gets Ben and Polly to basically stop it from having things that people want. So it changes the sign from lost and found to for incineration, and starts ripping tags off of all the toys so that they're no longer named, so cannot be wanted by anybody, apparently. Which is interesting because Ben and Polly's bear was unnamed for some reason, for a childlike reason. Like, if it doesn't have a name, I can't call out for it, so it won't get lost ever. Genius.
And I love how like older Polly is like, that was really dumb. Like,
yeah, she's like, I really don't want to tell you this. That's really dumb. Yeah, so that's a good time. But anyway, eventually they sort that out. They weaken this other entity that's taken the things they want, to a point where little Polly can snatch the bear out. The baked bean entity decides is finally got what it wants out of this entity as well. Obviously, because it's been so weakened, it was able to do so. And it goes, and everyone's back to moving correctly in time.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's like, yeah, as much as you want to like help out your little Polly, you need to go put her back where you found her. And we'll go with the bear. And that's what happened. There you go.
Yeah.
Summary.
I just like how like
It was a wild ride.
Yeah. I just like that was my favorite thing, is like when the beans started talking, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I was like this like wholesome British good has become the sentient walking, talking, and by walking I mean using the Doctor's legs, being or bean even.
Bean. Wow.
Just like I did it. I said the thing, but it's like it's so like the strangest. I think it's the strangest short trip we've had.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like on a strange. I mean, there have been like some oddities, but nothing like particularly strange. Yeah.
How ugly the Sixth Doctor's coat is.
Oh, yep.
Destroys
That's
the planet.
strange. Well, and this coat causes some problems with a young kid who's concerned about his shell.
I love that story so much. That like geeky kid trying to be cool by wearing the Sixth Doctor's jacket. Like, holy crap! I've actually gone back and re-listened to that one. Like, that's so great. It's my shell. Get yourself another one. Like, Colin Baker's performance is so solid in that one. What's crazy is like, Annika Wills, she like turns back into 20-something-year-old Polly straight away.
She
like
does.
when she's like
She's
narrating in
excellent.
her, she's like narrating in her normal voice, and then turns back into like Polly from Classic Who. I was like, whoa, that's so cool.
And then becomes young Polly as well. Like,
Yeah.
it was good. Like, nobody else would have sold that. Like
And I'm just
nobody
like,
else.
whoa. When she became Ben.
Oh
You're
yeah.
right, Duchess. Yeah. I'm just like, that's so good. You just know
She
that.
had a good time
Yeah,
playing Ben.
she had a good time playing Ben. Like, and her harumph as the second Doctor. Yeah, yes, of course. Like he did have this like ability to like fall
Yep.
on top of his own sentences, like the second
Yeah.
Doctor.
She did a good she did a good second Doctor impression, but it's never going to be as good as Jamie's own
Man.
impression.
Wow, Fraser Hines, he knocks it out of the park. But, yeah, I think this is definitely. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah,
it's just like
it was a good story.
It's significantly less of an adventure, and it's just like one day in the Doctor's life, which is the short trips I prefer than the Doctor having a full adventure in 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's nice, and I think I quite like that. Like Polly can't give the bear to her younger self because the Doctor's like, no, because like I need you to have that memory for this to have played out. So
yeah,
like the only reason I was able to beat these monsters is because of this memory. So
yes,
yeah.
yes indeed.
So with this one, you can pick it up for like, I think it's even cheaper than Something Inside, even though it's a newer production. So I definitely suggest it. Again, we're not sponsored by Big Finish, but with the app you can take your collection anywhere you need to go. You can listen to it via with the app. You can listen to it via their cloud environment, so you don't even have to download it to your phone. And they've partnered with Spotify recently. So the first 100 monthly range trips, all of the short trips from volumes 1 to 3 are on there as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put a link in the description below for this week, guys, because they've partnered with Spotify, and Spotify's like with so many providers now for free. So you get Big Finish for free, literally now. That's crazy.
Well, at least in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I don't know about other countries.
I think it is for like all the providers in the States. I mean, you can correct me in the wrong comments, but yeah. Well, with that, guys, we'll catch you next week.
Right on.